Well, the issue of cybersecurity is front and center again this week after the latest attack on a Canadian company.
2 weeks after Indigo's website was forced offline, the company is blaming a ransomware attack that targeted employee data. The company is now able to offer online sales again, and sales customer data wasn't promised, but current and former employee information was accessed. It's the latest instance of a cyber attack on Canadian companies and organizations in recent years. Terry Cutler joins us. He is known as an ethical hacker and is the CEO of Cyology Labs, specializing in cybersecurity. Thank you so much, Terry, for being here with us. You work with individuals, big and small companies, to help protect themselves, and in fact, some pay you to hack them. Can you elaborate on your work very quickly?
Sure, yes. Good morning, first of all. So as an ethical hacker, we get hired, my team and I, to legally hack into companies, help them find all the holes before the bad guys do. So it's essentially an audit to see if they're vulnerable. And usually it's great when they call us before the fact, but a lot of times we find these vulnerabilities all the time that could have prevented these types of ransomware attacks.
And when it comes to hackers, I mean, clearly you're strong on the keyboard, you understand coding and things like that. How easy is it generally, or how vulnerable do you find companies to be? Are they well buttoned up, or are there generally some pretty good holes?
It really depends. So here's the problem we're facing right now, is that vulnerabilities are found on a really frequent basis. So you could be protected today, and then 2 weeks later, there could be what's called a zero-day exploit, which means that no vendor knows about this hole yet, except for the hackers. So they got this window of time to exploit everything before it gets fixed. So we're always faced with this. We're always facing with the cat and mouse game where we're trying to keep up all the time, but we know that you can't start mass updating all these updates, these computers, because we don't know what's going to happen. It could crash them. It's very difficult.
I think maybe Indigo could have used you before 2 weeks ago to figure out what was wrong with them. They said that they are strengthening their cybersecurity practices. Do you think this is too little, too late?
I hear this comment all the time, or we take your privacy or security very seriously. Well, if you did, you wouldn't have had a vulnerable system like that online, right? But it's very, very difficult to spot these types of attacks, to be honest, because no hackers are going after their firewalls anymore and get detected. When all they have to do is send a phishing email to an employee, have them click on a link that they weren't supposed to, and that's what compromises the whole company.
Such a simple way in, really. So when you think about that from that side of things, that's the sort of company side. But as consumers, often we're asked at a checkout counter, can I get your email address? Or, when you're using, internet shopping, et cetera, online shopping. So how can we safeguard ourselves or our information that we're handing over electronically? Or should anyone really concerned about all this just pretty much go back to shopping in person and using cash?
Okay, that's a great question. So here's what happens. Whenever these data breaches occur, the consumers are usually left holding the bag, right? Because when this data gets out, they have access to all of the consumers' email addresses. And what typically happens now is that they're going to receive phishing emails saying, hey, this is Indigo. As you know, we've had a security issue. Click this link to reset your password. And when you click on the link, it might infect the consumer. It might ask them to log in, which will reveal their passwords. Now they could be used to hack into their Instagram accounts or these other things. It's all an extortion play. So it's all monetary right now.
Why is it so difficult in this day and age to protect such personal information?
Well, if we talk about consumers, for example, they don't care about cybersecurity until it's too late, unfortunately. Right. And their comment to me is always that, well, I'm not a cybersecurity expert. I don't care who's going to want to hack me. I'm small fish. Until your bank account gets drained and your RSP is drained. So they need to stay up to date with the latest threats that are occurring. And that's always been a problem, too, because where are they supposed to go to get this latest information? And I'm not sure if we're allowed to talk about this, but there's an app that exists called Fraudster that's available for both Apple and Android, which gives out all free information for consumers and small business owners on how to keep safe online.
All right, so that's definitely a good way, Terry, to sort of protect yourself. I'm intrigued by the latest move by Twitter lately, where unless you pay for a subscription, you can't get the two-factor authentication process that a lot of people had been using as a sort of safety protocol backup. What do you make of A, that change, and B, what should Twitter users who don't want to be paying $8 or $12 a month to quote-unquote be verified be doing in this instance to protect themselves, especially on that app?
Okay, so it sounds like a money grab, right? But it's not. So what happens is, in order for you to have the two-step verification, that's the SMS messages. That means the text message is going to come to your phone. It actually costs Twitter $60 million a year to run that service. And it's actually not as secure as running the Authenticator app. So if you want to pay to be unsecure, then there's your option. If not, they can use the free Authenticator app, which is far more secure and more compliant for users, so they don't have to pay for that.
Okay, that is really good to know. Ethical hacker Terry Cutler. Great information today. Really appreciate the time. Thanks so much.